You're listening to the main event with Zach Gelb and Mike Zahn on WHI.
Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to WHIP in the city of Philadelphia. Brotherly love. 11:15 is the time in the WHIP studios. Zach Gelb and Mike Zahn here with you. We're getting you ready for Temple and SMU that comes your way tonight on ESPN2 as the Owls play SMU in Dallas, Texas. Now joining us in the studio is Jack Fatica. And you may say, who's Jack Fatica? I'll tell you who he is right now. He's the I Believe guy. Aha! Everyone now knows who Jack Fatica is. Does a fantastic job being the I Believe guy at the games, getting everyone all pumped up for the student body. And we always love when you walk out of either the Lincoln Financial Field, at Chorus Center, and the whole student body is able to chant, I believe that we have won. So we'll try to maybe get Jack to chant that with us at the end of the show to possibly give the Temple Owls some good luck tonight. Jack, thanks for coming in. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. This is a cool thing to be able to be here with you guys.
Well, we appreciate you coming in. So you've been through the dark days of Temple athletics. You've also seen some of the better moments, whether it's in basketball, and now you're starting to see that through football. And just push up a little bit to the mic if you can. To finally see this city, and especially all the crap that the football team has been to, be on the national spotlight last week, and you're the most prideful guy when it comes to Temple athletics. What did that mean to see ESPN here, ABC here, and everyone finally talking about the Temple Owls for football?
I mean, it's hard to put into words. You know, you talk to a lot of people who are fans of different schools or fans of pro teams, and to be so emotionally connected to a program like a lot of us are, particularly myself, it's hard to put into words. I mean, I think my wife said to me, it's like your Super Bowl. It was just so exciting to see what I think a lot of us always saw was possible with Temple football, which is to get the city, the alumni, people who didn't even go to Temple supporting us. That was just amazing. I really can't put into words other than it was kind of one of those things that you'd always hope for, and there it was, right? And it was almost surreal.
So when you were here, the football team was god-awful. They had like 1-2 wins a season, and the basketball team was under Chaney doing so many special things. Just to see this football team do what they're doing right now. Take me back to when you were a student, what it was like going to Temple basketball games where all they would do is when in the football team all they would do is lose. What do you remember from your days here as a student with Temple athletics?
I mean, basketball, to your point, I mean, it was the heyday of John Chaney's years. We played in McGonigal Hall back then, so it was a small 1,000-seat arena. We called it McGonigal Hell. And, we sat right on top of the other team. It was loud, it was fun, it was exciting. We were really good. Those were the heydays of the UMass Temple rivalry. Those games were always just crazy. From a football perspective, we had spent so many years just being non-competitive. I always supported the team just because that's what I've always done. Whether
it's what you do as a student. It's your duty, as I like to say.
Absolutely, it's whether you're a student or you're alumni, you support the teams. It's not about whether they win. It's about being proud of Temple University and the athletes that are on the field supporting and being there representing all of us. But football was one of those things. Saturday morning, you wake up, and I was all excited, and I have my cooler packed and ready to go down, and trying to get anybody to go with you was always difficult. But we always did it, whether it was 2 of us or 5 of us or 10 of us. And, to see where we're at now, it's been rewarding, all those years of dedication, so to speak.
And what's great about you is everyone sits there at a Temple basketball game and they look at you. So if they're up by 10, 15 points up against St. Joe's, everyone's going, Jack, come on, start up, get chanting. We won this game. It's over. And we get the angle from the student broadcast booth, which is right in the corner adjacent to the students. So we're like 15, 20 rows behind where you sit, and everyone keeps on looking at you. It's been something that has been around since my freshman year, right. And I'm not sure when it actually started. Take us through the history of the I Believe chant at Temple and how you became the guy that leads this chant.
Yeah, it's a great question. I'm asked that often, but I can't remember exactly the year that it started, but I remember how it started. And one of the seasons, it was one of the years, I think kind of the end of Chaney's tenure, we weren't doing too well. And the student section was not as full as it's been recently, and they were trying to get it going. There's a guy by the name of Luke Butler. I think he was the president of the Cherry Crusade, and they were trying to get it going in the games that we had won. And I looked, I said, that's pretty cool. Season ends, we come back the next year. Our first basketball game that season, we had a football game in the afternoon. So it was double dipper, right? We had a noon football game. I went down and tailgated with all my buddies, and we came up to campus for a 7 p.m. game. I think it was against Siena, and we were up about 30 in the second half. And I had been tailgating, had a little bit of fun for the day. I stood up and I just started yelling, until somebody paid attention to me. And then finally Luke came over and he was like, all right, if you can do it, but we'll tell you when. That was the first game I did it. And after that, I've pretty much done it every game since then.
The power of a few beers right before a football game.
That was it. So
college sports.
I was a little bit, I guess, persuasive in that moment, but it was a lot of fun, and now it's just become such a great tradition. I think a lot of people use that whole "I believe" moniker. The "I believe that we will win" cheer was popular with the U.S. soccer team, but I just love our spin on it, and I make sure to remind everybody we're different. We only do it when we win, and to me, that's why it's so cool. That's why it's so powerful, because it puts a statement on that victory versus being rather presumptuous with the cheer at the beginning of the game. So I think it's a cool little spin. It's different here at Temple, and it's something that's made the games a lot of fun for me and hopefully for everybody else.
In studio right now is Jack Fatica. You may also know him as the I Believe Guy, and you can follow him on Twitter at the I Believe Guy. This has been quite a year for Temple football. Just for Temple athletics, it's just been huge. And we recently had Dr. Pat Kraft come in and tell us what this means for the program. What does it mean for you as a fan, considering you did go through some of those dark days?
It's a great question, and I think I said before, it's so hard to put into words. To me, at some level, it's validation for our football program. I cannot tell you the snickers and the sneers and the laughs from friends over the years when I tell them I'm going to a Temple football game. I invite everybody. That's my thing. I invite everybody to games, football, basketball. I think Temple has some level of a perception by people who've never even been to campus or been to a football game, so I try to expose people to that. And, over the years, just telling people, you go to Temple football games? Nobody goes to Temple football games. And just to see it now, to see...
We've been there for UConn 21-0 where they're up, they lose the game. Yalwin frickin' Smallwood runs down the sideline and takes it to the house on what was like a 35-degree. We've been there.
And again, I've shared a lot of those moments with you guys, and to see it on national TV, to see game day here, to see the sold-out crowds is awesome. But that was a once in a probably hopefully not our lifetimes, but it's kind of that type of moment. But to even see homecoming and see it for Tulane to have the whole bottom bowl of the link full, that just shows how far we've come as a program to support. To support football. The students are there. The students have been amazing supporting the team this year. And that, just to see that growth is just awesome. It's something that, I cherish in my life. It's outside of my family, and my job is probably the most thing I'm involved in. It's probably sad, but it's the truth. So it's just great. It's great to see it.
So you mentioned that a couple of people would make jokes and that there's this negative perception about people who have never been to Temple. They make jokes. I know that, just like my co-host, a couple personalities have blocked you on Twitter, and you're none too pleased about it. I saw you were tweeting back and forth.
I wonder who those could be.
And, whoever they may be. But do you think that even sometimes bad publicity is better than no publicity at all? Because this is a football team that, 10 years ago or so, there was almost the demise of the entire program.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you're talking to a guy who literally week after week would look up the ESPN bottom 10 because I saw our name there. I was excited. I know that's pretty sick, but I think the answer is yes. I think publicity is great. People are talking about us now when they never did. To turn on WIP or 97.5 last week and hear the T for Temple U, I'm like, I got tears in my eyes. I'm exaggerating, but it was really, really cool. And whether it's negative publicity for people who don't think we should build a stadium or we can't support a program or whatever.
Just be factual. That's all I ask.
Whatever it is, absolutely. Just be factual. And I think a lot of people say things about Temple. They say things about our support. They say about our campus, and they've never been here. They've never experienced
Silsky
it.
Ruben Frank. Sorry. I was supposed to press the cough button there.
Those are a couple of my buddies there, as well. So
We're talking to Jack Fatica, who's in studio with us right now. Have you ever done the I Believe chant early in, let's say, the second half of a game and then have to sit on your fingers and just say, it's getting close at the end? Was there ever one of those times?
No, there's never one of those times. You brought it up earlier how, people are always looking at me, Jack, do it. I go back to kind of our different twist on it where it's a statement for a victory. And to me, if we do it early and we lose,
it's embarrassing.
And it's over. I mean, to me, you can't do it anymore, right? Our little twist is gone. So, I think sometimes I may wait a little bit too long, but I just want to make sure that thing's wrapped up. And
so how many points do they have to be up for you to do that? Do you have like a number in the back of your head?
It's probably more time than...
It's time. It's what the score is. It's the flow of the game. I think each situation's different. I mean, I've done it times where we're up 15 with 3 minutes to go because you can just see it in the other team. It's over. Sometimes there's an 8 or 9 point game with a minute to go, and you wait just because... I've seen it. I've seen those losses happen, and I don't want to kind of wreck the tradition there.
You work at PNC. Do people at work know your dedication for Temple athletics, and do they know that you're the I Believe guy? Like, do people at work ever come up to you and just go,
ego?
I believe, like when it's at 12 o'clock on a Friday, you're trying to do some stuff.
It's funny. So I think anybody that knows me knows my dedication to Temple sports. I mean, if you meet me and we have a general conversation, I find a way to weave Temple in there somehow. I don't care who you are. I don't advertise that I do the I Believe chant. I have brought people that I work with to games. I don't tell them. I just let them see it if we win.
That's great.
Everybody thinks it's pretty cool. I have seen people in my lobby who I don't recognize, but they notice me. I get the obligatory, across the lobby of our building. But it's cool. It's been a fun thing.
Has anyone from administration or even former players ever just thanked you or, maybe said something to indicate that, we really appreciate that you come out and do that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people have thanked me, so to speak. I think they thank not necessarily the I Believe cheer and me being involved in that, just my support, just like every alumni should be thanked for the support they give to the team. It's not just me. I mean, I was lucky we had a doubleheader football game, and I got a little bit loud at the right time, and here we are. But, I mean, I think at the end of the day, the alumni, the students, us being there supporting the team is what makes the cheer fun. It's what makes it exciting for the players, for the students, and for the alum and people like me. So,
what's your take on the game tonight? Temple, SMU. Temple, they're 7-1. SMU's 1-7. But Temple's been in that spot where they've been in a 1-7 hole, and another team's been 7-1 just not that long ago, and they found a way to make those games close and competitive. Do you think Temple wins going away tonight, or is this going to be a close one?
Well, I've been wavering all week which way it's going to go. I think we played a fantastic game last week. I think it was a heartbreaking loss for the team. They haven't lost in a long time. I've listened to Rule and some of the things he's said. I think Temple's defense is going to put us in a position to win, just like it has every year. I'd love to see one of those games where we win going away. We haven't had a whole lot of those other than homecoming, and it's a away game. A little bit of a short week, so I probably think it's going to be a little closer than we all might like, but I still like the Owls to come away with a win.
Before we came on air, you had mentioned that when you were a student, you went to Pitt for a football game. And how many games now do you try and get to that are on the road? Do you just go to some of the closer games in the area?
I used to go to a lot of road games, but now I have two little kids. You may see them at the basketball games with me.
Wife goes, Daddy, you're staying home. You're not going on the road.
It's just a little bit harder for me to do some of that. As my kids get older, and my oldest is, road games will be part of our life. Right now, it's been a little bit tough for me. But I love to see the Owls in person whenever I can, whether it's a road game. I've got tickets for the game down in Annapolis, so that should be a good time.
We'll see you there.
Yep, absolutely. So that should be a good time That would be a fun I believe, to get that one out of the way there against the #1 team in the country.
Do you plan to ever pass the baton on as the I believe guy maybe to your kids one day? Are you going to be doing this when you're 85 years old with a cane and screaming still I believe?
He's got plenty of time left.
So people have asked me that before. I have to believe my kids are going to be completely, utterly embarrassed at a certain age that's my dad, right? So I don't know if one of them will take it, but I kind of look around at other guys at other sports who do that. There's the guy for the Jets. He puts the helmet on. Fireman Ed.
But he quit.
He quit.
He quit. Now he's back. He's back. But he quit after the butt fumble game. Right. I was actually at that game, and he walked out of the stadium and quit.
He quit. So I don't know how it'll play itself out. The most important thing is continuing what's an awesome tradition. Whether it's me doing it or whether it's someone else or whether it's someone in the student section, I think it's a cool tradition. It's different, and somebody needs to lead it. And, there's been I'm not there. There's always someone that steps up and does it. So I think the tradition is safe. My role in it over time, we'll see how it plays out.
While we have you here, as Jack Fatica joins us in the studio, a few more with him. Matakevich, every week the guy just makes a big play. He's always around the football, just has a knack for 5 interceptions this year. That's unheard of for a linebacker. And this is a guy that didn't come from a 5-4-star recruit kind of background. You've seen a lot of Temple athletes. Where does Tyler rank amongst the other Temple athletes that you've seen?
Wow. On the football side?
All of Temple athletics
All of Temple athletics. He is easily one of my favorite of all time. He's also one of the best we've ever seen. I mean, he's someone who just, the heart he puts in to what he does is just amazing. He's got a nose for the football. He tackles everybody. He's a leader. He's up there. I mean, it's hard to rank them because you got your personal favorites, and my buddies and I, we argue about this stuff all the time. Who are the best on the football side? I mean, he is right up there with some of the greats that we've seen. Klecko and. When I was around, Lance Johnstone played at Temple. I mean, he's just amazing. He's an amazing player. It's been fun to watch him for 4 years, and we're going to miss him. We're going to miss him next year.
Now, before we let you on, we have to be very serious during the games. We're credentialed, so we can't sit in the stands. I never had that moment when I've been able to chant out the I Believe chant. I know you don't want to do it prematurely, but I feel like this is going to be a Temple win tonight. I'll lock it up right on the air right now. It's that easy. Boom. Temple's going to win the game 34-17. Will you lead us in the I Believe chant on air? Because I've never been able to do it.
You never. If that makes you guys happy, I'd love to do it.
So
for
you start, and then we'll be like the 18,000 screaming fans at Aaliyah Chorus Center game.
Absolutely. All right. I believe.
I believe.
I believe that.
I believe that.
I believe that we have won.
I believe that we have won. I believe that we have won. I believe that we have won. Okay, before everyone stops listening with our awful voices, that will be the end of that. Jack Fatica, thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate minutes.
Absolutely. It was awesome. Thanks for having me, and let's go Owls.
There's the I Believe guy, Jack Fatica. 215-204-WHIP is the number. What we'll do right now is we'll take a quick break, and when we get back, Danny White, a Cowboy, is going to join us to talk some Eagles and Cowboys that comes your way Sunday Night Football on NBC. We'll be back. Time to WHIP Studios is 11:33.